Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California, where it is absolutely beautiful outside. And what we're going to talk about today, the big question is the macro low in, and we're going to talk about what would constitute, the conditions for at least what I would see it as a macro low being put in. And not only that, but we're going to talk about this morning some of the hottest altcoins on the market. That is the coins that are trending, which is, not an endorsement of the coins. I'm not endorsing the founders or the technology or the name of the coin. I'm just talking about the chart itself here. It could be Doggy Coin, it could be Ripple, it could be Litecoin, but it's not those coins, I'll tell you that much. So let's jump right in and talk about a few coins we're going to talk about today. We got Matic, Ethereum, Near, One, Phantom, Atom, and Link. That is Chainlink. All right, so we're going to cover those. We'll take a look at the NASDAQ and the dollar. But first thing is first, let's take a look at the underlying market dynamics. And first one we want to take a look at is the global open interest, currently at 16.91 billion, and that's coming from a high of 20 billion. That was December 28th. So we've shaved off about $3 billion. And could we shave off a little more, or is it, enough been shaved off for a reset? And I do think a bit more could be shaved off, but it looks like it's ticking up right now. Then you've got the leverage ratio. Ticked up. It's at an all-time high. We're at almost 0.23%, almost 0.2. So it's ticking back up. Very big move coming. When you have that much leverage in the market at all time, the leverage is at an all-time high. Open interest is very high, not at all-time highs, but almost. And so the question is, what's happening? We've kind of got this ticking time bomb. A big move is coming. And what else we want to look at is the fear and greed index, and that is coming in here at a 22. And we did hit a 10, and kind of just rehearsing this as a little bit of a fractal of the summertime price action where Bitcoin dumped from 60,000 down to about 30,000. It hung out there for about 2 months, and we hung out in the extremely fearful zone for about 2 months. So, yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit as well. So I would expect, again, we spent some time around this region in the fearful zone before that macro low is put in. However, as you can see in the background here, Bitcoin is playing out the bounce we did talk about. And this was the hopium we spoke about on Mondays. If we could get a bounce and then a 4-hour closure above this level at 43,700, that was the level, and we did get that just shortly ago. It's more clearly seen on the CMEs here at 43,700. So that's the first piece of the puzzle, and we did say if we got that 4-hour closure above there that we'd likely get a move up to 45,500, and I do think that is in play at the moment. And how would I invalidate that in any kind of a 4-hour closure back below 42,400, and I would say that was a failure. But what I want to get back into here is, kind of what is playing out right now. You've got several drives of hidden bullish divergence. So price here the whole time from this point on, actually from here, right, we're making lower lows and then we're making higher lows on RSI. So that is the relative strength index. So that's what hidden bullish divergence is. Typically, you get a play up to the 21. We got that and continued on for a move up to the green 55, and that is bullish on the 4-hour. We got a higher high and looks like a higher low going right now. Next things next. I did say you'd probably get a move up here to 45,500, and I'll stick with that for the short term. But let's take a look at the daily on the CMEs. And really, what would I want to do to see kind of, what's keeping us macro bullish? Let's we're in a, the reality is we are in a downtrend on all time frames up to a weekly time frame. And when does the picture start to change around for Bitcoin? And I would say a daily closure back above 52,000, right? Because right now we're making lower lows and lower highs. So first things first, we'd have to make a higher high, maybe somewhere around here at 49,500, and then a higher low, and then pick itself up and break back above 52,000. And that would kind of let me know, hey, look, this was a bear trap and the party is saved for the time being. The other thing we talked about is, this being a major buying opportunity around the green 55. Typically, if you hang out around here for a week or two, that's typically going to be a signal that a low is going to be put in. And we do have the daily bullish divergence playing out and probably gets you that move up to the 21 over some time here if it doesn't fail on the 4 hour. But again, what's keeping us macro bullish on Bitcoin? And that would be this on the spot price and the weekly time frame. As long as we're closing weeklies above 39,500, we are still in a weekly uptrend. And that is because we did not have a closure below the last weekly low, and more easily seen here and on spot price. So as long as we don't close the weekly below 39,500, going to maintain that macro bullish outlook and look for another higher high perhaps. So is Bitcoin going to be anti-fragile? Is it going to digest the Fed's market news kind of all at once here? Or is it going to take some time? I think probably take some time, and I'm going to go over kind of my thoughts there. But we still do have on the weekly time frame, we would still technically have higher highs and higher lows. This isn't, a low hasn't been put in yet. So the question is, where does that low come? And what I would say is on the daily, right? Very, very likely we probably get the bounce here, maybe come up to 45.2, up to the yellow 21, come back down to 43, and then, maybe gives a run back up to 46 or 49,000, and then probably comes back down and, swipes those lows one more time. That, I think, would be a little bit more realistic, something like this, and then boom. But as long as we don't close, that's closure. So a closure would be the actual candlestick closing below this last daily low at 37,500. As long as those two levels hold, we're still going to maintain that macro bullish outlook and look for, Bitcoin to pick itself back up and, sorry about that, and, retest the highs at some point. So the question is, how fast, how anti-fragile is Bitcoin going to be during this time where they start to raise rates and we get some turmoil in the stock market? Additionally, what did I want to talk about here as well? So yeah, the measure move on this thing, if we get a daily closure back above, if we get a daily closure back above 52,500, I'm going to look for a move back around 75,000. That is the area I want to be looking for. But would I be perfectly fine with Bitcoin just kind of, doing one of these and trading sideways for some time? Would I be okay with that? Absolutely. I think actually if that's the case, Bitcoin trades sideways and, eventually picks itself up. That's going to bode very well for some of the altcoins that we're going to be covering. So what else did I want to talk about today? Wrapping up Bitcoin's price again. Range highs there at 52,000. Until we can get a daily back above there, no hope of the low, the macro low being put in. And what else? Yeah, So I think we covered up pretty much everything. Want to see a daily back above there. We don't want to see any weeklies below that last weekly wick low, which is more clearly seen on spot price. Wow. So yeah, we didn't quite get the closure below that last wick low. So how would we begin to say, okay, this bounce has failed? Any kind of a daily closure below 39,500 very likely begets continuation down to our 37, 37,500. Can't get the words out of my mouth this morning. All right. So let's jump into some of these altcoins that basically should trend pretty hard if Bitcoin wants to play sideways and get a bounce maybe up towards that $45,000 or $46,000 region. And here's what I would say on first one, Matic here, putting in higher highs and higher lows on the daily and on the weekly. And it did have this macro breakout above this level, got us continuation, but basically the measure move on this thing, if we can get we did get the closure above here on this wick, right? So the measure move on this guy on a weekly is going to be up to about 366. Let's even throw a fib on this one. If we can get back above, yeah, first target 350 and most likely continuation on to about 445. This one is very strong, very, very strong. Matic, Polygon, whatever it does, it must do something great. And I would say, yep, we did get the daily closure yesterday back above the last wick high, and that usually begets continuation, probably gets a free ride up to about 266 and runs into some profit taking around there. Let's take a look at it on the 4 hour. And as long as Matic is closing 4 hours above 220, I'm going to look at this as bullish and anything in this region as a major buying opportunity for bounce continuation up to the top side of the range. Any kind of a 4 hour closure back below 213, and I would say failure on that one. Now, do you want to look at it on an hourly? On the hourly, we want to see this level hold. If not, next stop's down to 225. And that's what's called a golden cross, when the green 55 crosses the purple 200 exponential. And typically a good cross, what you'll see is they're coming like this, far away from each other. And then price action likes to test the cross, put a test right into the cross along the break, which that would be completely fine. And really, I would say hourlies, as long as hourlies are closing above, 191, even put that on a 4 hour, as long as we're closing, yeah. I mean, really, the macro outlook, as long as we're closing 4 hours and dailies above, 191, I don't know how helpful that is because there's a lot of downside risk there. But that's how I'm kind of looking at this one. You can see, wow, look at these trend lines kind of playing out here from going back to November. And I do believe we had this drawn in here for a move, something like this. Let's put it on a daily. I mean, it's just barely getting safe. And that does look like a macro low being put in right there, just enough to scare everybody out of the market, because I do believe we had this drawn in like this, right? But I think you could now draw this like this with these wicks. 3 touches to a trend line equals a trend, and we've got a trend line coming in all the way back from here. That is 1, 2, 3 touches to that trend line. And here's what I would say. Let's measure this one out. Any kind of a daily back. Daily is a little aggressive, but a daily back above 268. Really, daily above 287, looking for a measure move to get hit about 350 on this one. This one is very strong, and looking at it on a weekly, how does that look? And really, yeah, we got a test of the 21. That's fine. We got higher lows, and yeah, next week, if we don't take it out right now, next week, if Matic can just, confirm bullish divergence with another higher low, would that be bullish divergence? So, no, not quite. Between this point and this point, no. So, yeah, no, we got higher lows and almost lower low in RSI. I would say that's almost close enough is close enough there. That last one. All right, so let's get back into a couple more altcoins. I think that's wrapping it up for Matic. So basically, want to see a daily closure back above here, and that's good. Probably get some selling pressure. Wouldn't mind if Matic did something like this on the hourly. Oh yeah, it looks like it's getting the test on that green 55. So typically once you get the cross here, this is your risk management down there, and then any kind of a touch on that green 55 after the first cross is typically a buy. And that would give you a move, something like this. Depends on how aggressive you want to be, but sorry. So, and that'll to the highs. So to the highs. What is going on here? Oh, I turned on percentile. Forgive me, guys. I'm not an expert at this thing. I just do the best that I can here. But yeah, so I am looking for this target to get hit somewhere at 267. This to be a pretty good buying opportunity on the hourly if it comes down there. And how much increase on an hourly would that give you? It's a very nice way to manage your risk. That's a 20% move. And, where would you manage the risk on that? Typically, it depends on you. How much would you want to risk? 2%, 10%? Typically on a move like this, I'm looking at something back down here, but some people like to manage it based off of this cross, the golden cross. So any kind of a hourly closure back below 213 would constitute a failure on that move. On this, if you were to take a limit order somewhere in the 226 region. But again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not giving it, I'm just showing you some things that I'm looking at when I'm, trading on an hourly time frame. Some people are trading on a daily time frame because they don't have time to check it out every hour, every minute, right? If somebody wants to trade more on a weekly time frame, well, then you'd be looking at the weekly time frame, right? You only have time to check your candles a couple times a week or a couple times a day or maybe on a monthly time frame. But that's why I like this one. Matic on a monthly. Look at this thing, month over month over month. You got higher highs, higher lows, and this is just a backfill on last month. So we got 19 more days here and next month. So yeah, maybe end of this month, next month, we get a break above this critical level at 270, call it 267. Hey, it could happen today, right? We could break above there today, but that's what I am keeping an eye on for Matic. Now, next one, near this one, don't know what it does. Frankly, I just heard about it recently, but it is in a nice breakout. This is the daily trend, making higher highs and higher lows. And this is, its price, $8 to $17 from December 20th, while Bitcoin went from 60,000 down to 30,000. So this is the type of coin you want to be in when Bitcoin is crashing, right? Assets that perform strong when Bitcoin is weak typically will perform even better when Bitcoin is showing strength. So that's why I'm keeping an eye on this one. And really, we got a break of this range yesterday. if I just go like this and you measure wick to wick on this, this is how you do it. And if you're trading on a daily, right, we already got the break above this, above this level. We are testing the 1618. That's very typical. A little sell off from there, come back down, maybe test the support level. That's completely fine. And then, and then I would say very, very likely next target at 2197. Did we get a close above that wick? No, but we did get a new all-time high. This thing is bullish, and you look at it on a weekly time frame, it's making new all-time highs. I mean, it doesn't really have a weekly because, well, yeah, it does. It's been around for some time. But this one is looking very nice on a weekly time frame. So the week is going to close at, 4 hours, in 4 days and 7 hours. And any kind of a weekly closure above that wick would constitute a bit of a breakout and a bullish indicator. I mean, low volume so far, but we got 4 days left in this month. So let's see what Near Protocol can do. Okay, One Harmony. I don't know what they do. Maybe they sing songs. Maybe they, I don't know, have a new, no, I'm just kidding. They are a new Oasis network. It's a really good piece of technology. You should look it up. We'll probably do a video about it, but I'm just kidding around about that. Now, this thing is on a breakout. As you can see right now, I'm looking to grab some more. Any kind of a weekly closure here or higher, and the target on this one is going to be at 75 with a short stop at 54. This one looking bullish on the daily, any kind of a daily closure here. I mean, yeah, that's the level. I mean, really. Whoops. If we can get, and it looks like we are going to rip on through today alongside Bitcoin playing out of bounds, getting that closure above 43,700. Will it hold is the question, but this does kind of look like a head and shoulders here. I don't know if it's going to play out exactly, but that would be your shoulder. Here's your neckline. I mean, you could put the neckline right here, I guess. And so the measure move from the neckline on a daily breakout on this guy is going to be pointed all the way up to about 50 cents. So yep, that one is looking bullish. And if you wanted to be more conservative, you could wait for a break above this level or a break above really that level, conservative above 38 cents, targeting, massive moves up to about 50 cents on this one. Looking bullish on a daily. And what about on a weekly? And again, typically you don't want to buy in these regions because it is at all-time highs. I mean, unless you want to buy the breakout, and you can afford a lot of downside risk because these things can come down quite a bit if Bitcoin wants to come back down, right? So what kind of a downside move? I mean, typically, as long as we're holding, 25 cents on a daily, this thing is looking bullish, and that's, 24% down from where we're at today. This thing just took a 10% move to the upside today. So would it be more, cautionary to, wait a little bit and then, hey, maybe put a buy-in at 29 cents or at 30 cents or at 31 cents? That might be a little bit more conservative, unless you think this thing is just going to rocket ship to the moon right now, which based on the 4 hour, about to close in 2 hours and 56 minutes. What else do I got here? Let's see here. I'm going to throw on my other chart here. There we go. So if I was analyzing this one, I would look at I want to start out on the hourly. And what do we have here? A golden cross. We've got the silver cross. That's the So we've got all major moving averages cross to the upside, right? In an uptrend on the hourly, that's looking healthy. In the bullish control zone, volatility about to expand, and I would expect continuation on this one right now, actually. And what would continuation on a break of this hourly range look like? And I'm willing to bet, oh, what do you know? It's coming right up to our target, about 37, 38 bucks right there. So this one looks like it is geared up for an hourly move, right? Because that's what you want, trend, momentum, and volatility, right? So we've got higher highs and higher lows, right? You've got our Stokes getting back in the critical zone. That's good. We've got RSI in the bullish control zone making higher highs. And we did take out that last high. So literally as soon as we get off the phone here, I'm probably going to go pick up a little bit of this. Now I'm going to cut that out. Now moving on to the 4 hour, closing in 2 hours and 54 minutes. And what I would say is typically the 4 hour first test in the bullish control zone is a sell. Second one usually breaks it. And you've got volatility expanding. You've got Stokes in the critical zone. And that's okay. Some people say overbought or oversold. All this means is, we're trending. We're in the critical zone. I mean, you look at how long we spent up there last time. Last time we reached this region, Mr. One Harmony went up 23%. And what do you know? You have a silver cross right there and a very, I really like this one right now. Silver cross and easy way to risk, or easy way to manage your risk, right? And that would be the last wick low. And that's on the 4 hours. So that's, talk about, 22% downside for 12% upside. Typically, you don't want those kind of risk rewards. Typically, you want to buy when down here at the bottom side of the range when we test. So what likely happens on this one, or, very, very seems like could be likely. And I'll get my little drawing tool out here. We come up here. We go something like this. Boom. And then we test the base again. And then we hit that target. It would be fun to see if that actually works out. And there we go again, drawn all over the place. Okay. What else do I want to bring our attention to? Phantom. Oh, I like this one too. This one is amazing. Actually, we are going to put out a video on this one shortly. And I guess, yeah, the guy behind it, Sam Bankman, genius. Basically everything he touches turns to gold. That's what I hear. And this one certainly turning to gold. Phantom. Wow. Look at this chart. You would have bought this one in, I think we did the numbers back in January. It came out this year. I don't know what chart it was on, but January, it was a penny. I think it was a penny back in January. Let's see. Let's have a little fun here. FTM, oldest chart is probably, let's see, is it Huobi? Is it Binance? Let's see. This one is not it. November 21. Okay. And see, there's all these different exchanges. I mean, this coin is actually pretty hard to get. Not really. I mean, don't buy it. It's probably just going to go up in smoke here in a couple of days, but I do like it as a chart. And is this the oldest one? Could this be it? I don't know. That's old enough for me. That's back to June. Thing was trading at 19 cents. Now we're at 29 cents. I believe there is a chart. It was trading back in, oh, we can go to CoinMarketCap. Let's go there. This is an excellent resource. If you haven't been here, highly, highly recommend checking this site out. And we're going to type in FTM. Boom. Okay, all-time price history. And there she is. Wow. Wow. So that goes back to, wow, 1031 Phantom. Not bad. 2 cents. In 2018, this thing was 2 cents. Wow, how could you hold that long? Back to 125. So January this year is when it broke out at 2 cents, or, really it was December 20, November 20. This is just fun. Seeing where was the low? Okay. Probably right around here at about $5. In November of 20, you would have put 10 grand in this thing at a penny. It'd be worth 300 grand today. Not bad for Mr. Phantom. Okay. Now, let's take a look at why we select this one, even though it's all-time highs. Blue sky breakout, typically, when you make a new all-time highs, what is more likely to happen? More all-time highs. The trend is your friend till the end of the trend. Let that trend be your friend, and that's what I would say. And check out this guy here. So macro breakout on the daily, any kind of a daily closure back above, and I don't know if we even covered this one on Monday this week. I wonder if we did. I hope we did. Anyways, I'll have to go back and watch, but we are coming into a really fun area, right into some selling pressure. Typically, you are going to see some selling there, but how would we look for a target? We take the wick high, wick low of the range, right? That would be the daily range right there from here to there. Wick high to wick low, and in a volatile market, use the wicks. In a not so volatile market, don't. But next target on that, 381, any kind of a daily closure back above 316. And I would even go as far to say daily closure back above $3. Does it for me, but we are not quite there yet. And will the 4-hour hang on for its life here? That is the question. And where would I say this idea is over? Gosh, all the way down here. That would be a failed move. This would constitute as a major buying opportunity at 250. If we can come back down there, I would consider that a major buying opportunity. Even 266, somewhere in that region. Very, very likely. I mean, I've been telling my friend, we probably get some selling pressure right around $3. And then it will be, okay, where do we put in a higher low on the hourly or on the 4-hour, or is she just going to keep on running? We got 2 hours and 48 minutes on this next candle, so we will see what happens. Definitely trending pretty fast, pretty hard on Phantom. And what else are we going to check out here? We got near, we got one. Atom, another one bullish. On the 4-hour, we just got the 4-hour closure above this range high, and that's given us the measure move from here to there at about $43. Probably runs into some selling pressure as well. And this one's looking bullish. I mean, on the hourly, again, if you kind of look at these moves, they're going like this, about the same, strength, right? From this low. And I wonder if that lines up with the RSI kind of turning up. Can we get this trend line to keep on going is the question, but boom, we got that. And now where's kind of the next target on this one? At about 44.90, lining up right in the all-time highs. Yeah. So I would suspect, again, if Bitcoin does want to play out a little bit more of a bounce and get up to that $45,000 region, that's going to be very good for these coins. And here's another one I want to look at, and this is Mr. Chainlink. I'll never forget. Mr. Chainlink was not very nice to me one time, but, it's an inanimate object. I can't get married to the asset, and I can't get mad at it. It's just a chart with some prices on there and statistical probability, and we can make decisions based on that. And what I would say on this one, forget about the hourly for a second. Or actually, let's look at the hourly. What do we have on the hourly? So hourly is lower lows and lower highs. Or some would say we're still making higher lows. Nope, but I would say hourly's down. And the Stokes, let's take a look at the Stokes. So we got Stokes are up. So momentum is still up. RSI is getting back into the bearish control zone. Typically, the first touch in there is a bounce. So we want to see that bounce. That would be nice. Want to see this trend line hold. And then we got volatility at very low levels. So I do like this one for a pretty explosive move here. And I am looking, yeah, basically, I'd use a higher term time frame, but any kind of a 4-hour closure below here, that's where I'm going to start to lose interest in this. 4-hour back below 25, very likely gets you a move back to 23 and with a small bounce and probably down to the wick lows there. Otherwise, this thing looks very, very bullish on, I think, all the higher term time frames, like a weekly and above. Like the 5-day just made new all-time highs, getting a backfill there. Let me take off some of these levels here. So 5-day has now made a higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, and are we going to make a higher low? I don't know. I don't know. It looks a little bit, I mean, Link, here's why, and this one's a little bit slower to move, a little bit more on the laggard side, but this guy has been a beast, and it has some tremendous price history and fundamentals behind it. It's been a rock star of a performer. The longer the consolidation at the highs here, the better. And this is a monthly chart, and this would be a low. This would be a low. So if we can confirm bullish divergence right now with any kind of a monthly closure back above last month at 2650, and we got 19 days and 7 hours left. That very likely gets you a move back to the top side of the range, if not the wick highs. I'd say a macro low is in. And that kind of a move is going to be, what, that's 40% right there. It doesn't look big right there. It doesn't look big on the computer, but that on a monthly time frame. On a weekly, what does that look like? Weekly closure back above 33. And it's just really good, technical trading. We got higher lows. We got we got higher highs, higher lows. And yeah, any kind of a weekly closure back above this guy, very likely going to give us a move up to about $50. And I do like that for, a 50% gainer. Not bad. Not bad. So I'll be keeping an eye on this guy, and it very, very likely starts. It seems like it's being a bit stubborn here on the daily while everything else is kind of rallying. So here's what I wouldn't mind happening on this one for Link, Mr. Linky, right? So typically this is the buy. After you get the cross, you buy the green 55. That's your 50% retracement. That is where you have very good risk to reward, because then you know, okay, any kind of a closure back below 2272 is a failure on the move, and you can get out of the trade and go on to your next one. But again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you how I would be looking at it on a daily time frame if I was trading on a daily. Now, what else did I want to take a look at? What was I saying here? Oh yeah, we're going to draw out some lines here. So, we get a break above, we come back down and test the support. This was the breakout level right here at 2276. So we come back. I mean, I doubt it comes out low, but if we wanted to, going to come back and, do something like that. That would be, I don't know if it's going to happen over the next week or month or whatever it might be. Or, we go ahead and flip around right here. We hold this trend line on the 4-hour, which I'm leaning a little bit more towards that. I think just looks bullish. It looks, as you're consolidating all bunched up at the top of the highs here, that is typically a sign there's a lot of energy packed into this trade, and any kind of a daily closure or even a 4-hour back above here. And I'm going to say party on back to 28.25 at least. I think that's going to be a decent trade. However, where does it get invalidated again? 25.50, or sorry, call it 25 bucks. Any kind of a 4-hour closure back below 25 bucks, and CSI and ARA, say goodbye to that party. And again, yeah, when all these guys are bunched up, I wouldn't mind it just, again, doing something like this, even, something like that. Wouldn't mind that at all. But don't want to start to see these areas get violated on a hourly even. I don't even want to see it on an hourly. I want to see it all up. Right? We just want our coins to go up. That's all we want. Just kidding. All right. Next thing we're going to check in on, I think that's all the coins we're going to do for today. We got them all. I'm going to check in on NASDAQ right now. Oh, here's another one. Rose. This one is just trending hard. And if you look at this breakout, right here from the bottom to the, wow. So what would the next move look like if we were going to get a similar move, and if we were going to, where would I look at as, probably the next higher low being put in if we don't break out from right now where we're at, somewhere around there. And that probably gives you a nice shot up. Yeah, somewhere up to that 2618 Fibonacci. It's just amazing how these fibs line up with everything. Whoever invented the Fibonacci retracement, man, I'm impressed. I don't know how these things work, but they seem to work out more often than not. And I do like this one, Rose, basically doing what Adam and what we hope Matic is about to do, right? So Adam and Matic, very similar, right? Getting back to the highs, very strong. Matic, not even close, but it looks like that macro low is going to be put in, and looks like continuation to me. And provided that Bitcoin wants to hold itself up here, and it looks like it does, yeah, we're getting, a little bit of continuation. Perfectly fine to come back and test that green 55. We got this little cross here, the 9 and the 21. The next thing we want to see on Bitcoin would be great, if we don't get a shot right up here, but would be this yellow 21 to cross the green 55. And we can get that cross up on the 4-hour. That's going to look really good for things to start to turn around and for a macro low to be started to put in. Really, you want to see it on the daily. Any kind of time you get the daily cross up to the upside, boom. That was a big move on the daily, and now we're across to the downside. So it can uncross itself pretty quickly, as you can see back here. This correction took about 2 months. So again, what happened is we had this big wick down, and we had a bounce, right? And that's what we said. We were very, very likely going to get a bounce from here. We come up and test that green 55. Oh, that's on the opposite side. So that's technically your short position. If you wanted to get short, you would do it off that green 55. And what then? Very similarly back here, right? So we got a bounce up to almost the green 55, and then we got another wick down, made new lows. Oh, what do we have here, right? So we've got this bounce here to here, then new lows. Oh, what do you have here? Big wick down, bounce to the green 55, new lows. So how would that line up if this is going to be a fractal? What's a fractal? It's like basically saying, the same pattern is going to play out. I personally don't like fractals, and I don't think they're that great, but for the sake of this argument, I do think there are quite the few similarities, including the fear and greed index and the open interest and the leverage being at highs. But let's take a look here, and Forgive me if this is taking a bit longer than usual, but yeah. So bounce, touch the green 55, and then new lows. Okay, bounce, touch the green 55, new lows. And so what do you expect? At least a test to the 45,000. I at least think we're going to get back to 45 to 45.5. And if it plays out anything like this, well, then what happens? We slump over again and even get a new low. So it's completely fine if Bitcoin wants to swipe down here to 37,500. As long as we don't get a closing, a daily closing below 37,200, then hey, we're out of the woods, right? And that hash ribbons indicator, all the things we've been talking about, the macro trend in place, still going to be intact. And yeah, again, we are playing, we are, making a fractal here, showing some similar relationships. Doesn't always work out like that, but I do want to give you my thoughts and how I am looking at this market. And yeah, how do we get back to Bitcoin? So that's going to go ahead and wrap up my thoughts for today, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. I hope that wasn't too confusing. And thank you guys so much for watching, for dealing with me. Remember, we're not financial advisors. If you enjoyed our daily analysis, I wanted to throw in a little dollar analysis as well in the NASDAQ, right? So dollar coming down. This is exactly what we wanted to see on the daily. Dollar come down to 93. Good for Bitcoin. Party on. That is a bullish sign. I'm glad I just saw that. And then what else did we say? Dollar down. What would happen? Stocks up, right? So NASDAQ getting a big bounce. S&P getting a big bounce back above the critical level at 46.98. And I would say, higher lows. What's next? A higher high. Obviously, this market is digesting the taper talk from Mr. Powell. Who knows? I could be wrong. How would you invalidate this kind of, it looks, what is that? I don't, how would I draw this one out on a daily time frame for the S&P? Well, 3 touches to a trend line, right? And this thing already broke out. That is how I'd be looking at it, like this. And basically, you know what? Forget that. I don't even want to use that. Trying to draw a triangle out of a weird shape there. It doesn't really work. Could he call it a head and shoulders? Maybe. I don't know. As long as we don't violate that neckline there. But easier way to do this with the fib retracement, right? Look, this thing has been macro bullish for so long. Why would you ever think it's going to stop? Why would you ever think it's going to top? Next target on S&P, 37,600 with any kind of a daily closure back above 36.8. But yeah, this looks like higher lows and higher highs to me on the daily time frame. On the weekly, what do we have here? Top B looks a little toppy. Well, we did get the play down to the 9, and then yeah, it would be a bounce back up. And if this, as long as this, so where does this thing get bearish again? Really, technically speaking, for me, I mean, daily closure back below 33. That doesn't really help us though. That does not really help us. But yeah, daily below here, bad. But now, you could use this support level. Why not? Conservatively, this area at 35,500. But as long as these guys, these generals are marching back up, right? And this little correction is over. That was like a little baby step in the market. As long as that correction's over, 24% correction, that's not even a hiccup, dude. Look at this market. This is the stock market. This is the stock market. Doesn't compare with Bitcoin, but from March of 2020 or May of 2020, March of 2020, we're up 123% on the S&P 500. The NASDAQ is up 143%, and the Dow is up 95%. So yes, that's why I say the general of the market is Mr. NASDAQ, the general, right? He's the commander in chief. Really, he's the dictator. Then we've got Mr. S&P. So back to our conclusion there, and things are kind of rotating a bit, from NASDAQ back to S&P. But yeah, as S&P's showing strength right now, and NASDAQ's been showing relative weakness. Tech stocks, we're due for a little bit of a correction, so should you say. And so, yeah. So I think, we took a lot of time today, guys. I hope this wasn't too much for you. Let me know if you liked it. Post a comment below. Hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. And if you're interested in learning about incorporating Bitcoin into your IRA, click on the link in the description below and have a blessed day. Take care.